Hi, and welcome back. This is part 2 in our intermittent fasting series, and today I want to talk about things that will break your fast. There's a little bit of disagreement about this, but I always think that disagreement's a good thing. If all the experts don't agree, then that means all the experts are thinking, right? Anytime all the experts agree, you should put one hand over your wallet and one hand over your, well, it's good that there's expert disagreement on this, okay? So let's talk about this. First, take a minute, please, and hit the subscribe button and maybe share this on social media because you probably have some friends who are overweight or who have type 2 diabetes who could really benefit from hearing this video. And if they're trying intermittent fasting, they need to know what's going to mess their fast up, okay? All right, so here we go. What will break your fast? And so we've already talked about your feeding window and your fasting window. And in the mornings, I said I have my bulletproof coffee, which is basically coffee with pure fat in it. I don't put any sweetener in it, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'll tell you why. I don't put any protein in it. I don't put any carbs in it at all, just fat, because I don't believe that fat technically breaks my fast in a meaningful way. Now, obviously, technically it breaks the fast because I ingested calories. Now, there are some purists in the religious community who think that ingesting anything, including water, breaks your fast. But, we're used to our creature comforts, so I'm going to have some water and I'm going to have my bulletproof coffee. But my results that I've had over the last few months tell me that I'm not breaking my fast in any meaningful way. And that's what really matters. What we want here is results. We want good health. We want a slim waistline. We want good numbers when our doctor checks our lab work, okay? So when you stop eating in the evening, that begins your fast, and that could be at bedtime. And before I was going to mention, let me go ahead and mention now, for some people it's best to skip breakfast. That's best for you. And even though I grew up being a breakfast eater, that works out best for me and my family and my work schedule is if I can eat dinner with my family, I'll skip breakfast. Okay? Now, it may work out better for you if you skip your evening meal. In most of the world, that's dinner, but here in the South, that's sometimes called supper. So either skip your breakfast or skip your dinner supper, depending on where you're from. Or you don't have to skip any meal at all. If you compress those 3 meals into your feeding window, which is 6 or 8 or maybe 10 hours long, you can still have your 3 meals if you like. You just have to compress that feeding window so that you've got enough hours in the rest of the day that your insulin is low so that you're burning fat for energy instead of burning instead of burning carbs or sugars or starches, okay? So when I get up in the morning, I have my bulletproof coffee. Now, what are the things that I believe that you can drink without breaking your fast? There's nothing you can eat. If you're chewing something, you've broken your fast, okay? Because that's going to tell your stomach, hey, wake up. That's going to tell your pancreas, hey, wake up. He's chewing something. There's about to be some food coming down the pike. We better go ahead and secrete a little insulin. We better go ahead and get things ready because he's eating. So there doesn't need to be any chewing. Probably ice is okay, but I don't even know if I would do that or not. You can have ice water, just don't chew the ice as some people make it a habit of doing. What you drink does not need to have any sugars, any starches, or any carbs, definitely, because any of those things are going to cause your blood sugar to spike, which is going to cause your, what's this? Insulin to spike, to grab that blood sugar to keep it from going too high. That's how the human body works. And so anything that has sugar or sugar alcohol or any honey, agave, any of that stuff, if you put it in your coffee or tea or whatever, that's going to break your fast, okay? And so you're going to secrete insulin and immediately stop burning fat for fuel. You're going to start burning the carbs again, okay? So you don't want to drink anything that has a lot of protein in it because it's proven medical fact that if you ingest enough protein, even though there's no blood sugar spike, you still spike your insulin. That's proven medical fact. There's no argument on that. And so if your doctor tells you that protein doesn't spike your insulin, either try to work with your doctor and train him and educate him, or maybe you need to find a new doctor, okay? Now, what about fat? Does fat break your fast? And I personally don't believe it does. And so sometimes I'll put grass-fed butter in my coffee if I have it. Sometimes I'll put MCT oil, such as a really good quality coconut oil, in my coffee. I don't like that as well, but I've learned to like it. It's fine. And then sometimes I'll put heavy cream in my coffee. And there could be an argument made that heavy cream might break your fast. I can't completely disagree with that, but I think it's so minuscule that it doesn't matter. And like I said earlier, for me, the results speak. And so for me, I think heavy cream is fine. For other people, it might not be fine. You just have to go based on your results. Now, let's talk about sweet tastes. If something tastes sweet, it's going to break your fast. And you're like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, let me tell you about this medical study they did a few years back. They took two groups of people. In one group, they gave a sugar solution, just sugar and water. In the other group, they gave a saccharin solution. Sugar-free, no calories, saccharin. But here's the kicker. We all think that in order for our blood sugar to go up and our insulin to spike, we have to swallow and it has to be absorbed right into the bloodstream. There's this thing called the cephalic insulin response. The two studies, one the sugar group and the saccharin group, they would just hold the fluid in their mouth and swish it around for a period of time, a few minutes, and then spit the fluid out. Okay, and so this one has sugar, so you could say, well, maybe he swallowed a tiny bit, maybe, but this group only had saccharin that tastes very sweet. To me, it tastes bitter, but for most people, it's very, very sweet, but it had no sugar, no calories at all. Both groups had an insulin spike shortly thereafter. Even though they both spit the fluid out, they did not swallow the fluid. So if you're trying to really strictly intermittently fast, I'm sorry, I love stevia. I think it's wonderful. And then the pink, the yellow, and the blue, if it tastes sweet, it's going to spike your insulin. And the moment your insulin spikes, you stop burning fat as fuel. And the whole point of intermittent fasting is to burn the fat in your pancreas, burn the fat in your liver, burn the fat on your belly and on your booty. That's the fat we're trying to burn. And if you're burning carbs, you're not going to burn that fat. It's just going to sit there and laugh at you, okay? So intermittent fasting is very important. It's very cheap. It's very easy. It's very safe. Don't let anybody tell you that's dangerous. Humans have been doing it for thousands of years, okay? But you have to be very careful what you drink in the mornings, or what you drink in whenever your morning is, as far as your fasting window, or you will break your fast, okay? And so if you're a breakfast eater, you can go ahead and eat and drink whatever is on your diet, and you're going to break your fast, but that's okay because you're not going to have an evening meal, or you're going to compress your feeding window so that all 3 meals are within that 8 or 10 hour window. So I hope this helped. If it did, I want you to please subscribe to this, hit the little bell, and share this on social media so I can keep making these videos and helping people improve their health. See you next time.